Ray Douglas Bradbury was born in Waukegan, Illinois on August 22, 1920. He was the youngest of 3 sons and spent most of his youth time reading and writing in the library. He read authors such as H.G. Wells, Jules Verne, and his favorite author Edgar Rice Burroughs. By reading these authors and spending so much time in the library, he was influenced in his writing. Plus, he was pushed by his aunt to write more. He used this library as a setting for much of his novel, Something Wicked Comes This Way, and depicted Waukegan as Greentown in some of his other semi-autobiographical novels, Dandelion Wine and Farewell Summer, as well as in many of his short stories. Now Bradbury is an American fantasy, horror, science fiction, and mystery writer, best known for his novel Fahrenheit451 and for the science fiction stories gathered together as The Martian Chronicles and The Illustrated Man.
Guy Montag is a fireman whose job is to burn illegal books. Guy is having a revelation on the society he lives in. He realizes that he never thinks about his life, and he is hoping to be released from this life by reading books. Clarice is a 17-year-old girl that is considered unsocial because she actually likes to talk and think. She is the one that makes a big impact on Montag's life as she asks the question if he is happy. Captain Beatty is the head honcho fireman, yet he seems to know the most about books. He is used to be curious about books just like Montag, yet unlike him, he doesn't want to think about what he has read. The answer is not in books. The answer is about reading books and thinking for yourself. Mildred is in the novel to demonstrate what will happen if we don't think for ourselves. Her whole life is to wake up, watch TV, take 30 sleeping pills, and go back to sleep, only to wake up and find her stomach pumped. Faber teaches Montag one important lesson. It isn't about the books. Books reflect life, and the way you interpret them is the important thing.
Fahrenheit 451 takes place during the 24th century in and around a big city. It took place in the future because Bradbury feared that this could potentially be a threat. By setting the story in the future, Bradbury felt he could warn people and possibly prevent from what could happen.
Guy Montag is a fireman of the future. In this future, firemen start fires instead of putting them out. What these firemen burn are books. Books are illegal in this society. Anyone who is caught with books are taken away to a crazy house, and their house is burned. Guy's life is nothing out of the ordinary. The lives with his wife, Mildred, with which he has a distant relationship. Even though he is a fireman, he is curious about books. He has some books hidden in his house. Montag's life is normal until he meets a 17-year-old girl named Clarice. She asks him many strange questions, like is he happy with his life and job? She really makes him wonder a lot about himself. After having many conversations with her throughout the week, he is upset when he finds out she was killed. Also, after having experienced the death of a woman he calls in sick at work, he receives a visit from Captain Beatty that leaves him very confused. He calls his friend Faber, an ex-professor, in hope that he can help him understand what he reads. That night, when he returns to work, the first report they get takes them to Montag's house. Beatty gave Montag a flamethrower and tells him to burn his own house. After burning his house, he kills Captain Beatty and knocks out 2 other firemen. Now he is on the run from the mechanical hound. After escaping, Montag met Granger and his group of readers. The country was burned, and they set out to teach the world about books.
One conflict in the story is that Montag realizes that he is changing his views on being a fireman, and he is afraid of what the consequences on this thought will bring. This is a conflict because Guy Montag is individual versus society. The conflict is resolved by Montag going back to the firehouse to talk to Beatty. This is an internal conflict because it is a problem within Montag himself. Another conflict in the story is that Mildred and Montag are both afraid of what will happen to them for reading the books Montag has stashed away. They might get in big trouble. But this conflict is resolved by Mildred calling into the firehouse to come burn the books in the house. This is an internal conflict because it is a problem within Montag and Mildred.
Fahrenheit 451 has many themes, such as censorship, knowledge versus ignorance, and life versus death. Also in this novel, they are against natural human values and our historic cultural heritage as individual humans. Another theme would also be that a technology-controlled society cannot endure.
Ray Bradbury's inclusion of advanced technology in this novel is important because it shows us and warns us about what our society can become if we allow ourselves to become too obsessed with technology. The mechanical hound was a six-legged robotic dog. It tracked down people using their DNA. It can be programmed to kill anybody. It relates to our technology because we have tracking devices that can track people by their fingerprints. Interactive TVs that covered the whole wall. We now have flat-screen TVs and projectors, but not an interactive. Seashells are like our iPods. They are a device you put in your ears and you hear sound through them. Everyone nowadays knows, absolutely is certain, that nothing will ever happen to me. Others die, I go on. There are no consequences and no responsibilities. What Beatty meant when he said this was that people now don't think anything could happen to them. They act without thinking about the consequences. It showed Montage Beatty's opinion on their society and life. We must all be alike, not everyone born equal, as the Constitution says, but everyone made equal, each man the image of another. Beatty said this to Montage to try to convince him that society was doing the right thing and what's best for the people. After Beatty talked to Montag was confused on whether he should go back to the firemen or not. If it hadn't been for Faber, Montag would have gone back.